All right, if you're an Android developer, you've definitely met the Gradle beast. You know what I'm talking about, especially when your app starts to grow. Well, today we're going to tame it. We're looking at this really powerful technique called convention plugins that can bring some serious sanity and consistency to your build logic. Let's dive in.
So picture this. You start with a nice, clean app, but then you add a module, then another, and another. And before you know it, your Gradle files are just this tangled web. You're staring at a dozen different build.gradle.kts files, and you're just wondering, there has to be a better way, right?
And this is the real pain point, isn't it? The endless copy pasting. The same compile SDK, the same min SDK, the same plugins, just again and again and again. It's not just boring, it's honestly a recipe for disaster. You miss one tiny update in one file, and suddenly that one module is totally out of sync with everything else. But what if you could just manage all of that common setup from one single central place? You know, a single source of truth that lays down the law for your entire project. Well, that's exactly what we're here to talk about. The answer is something called a Gradle Convention plugin. And really, the idea is super simple. It's a plugin just like any other, except this one is built by you for you. It's custom made to capture all of your project's rules and standard configurations in one neat, reusable package. Here's a really easy way to think about it. You know how you apply the com.android.library plugin? It's one line, and boom, you get a ton of Android-specific functionality. A convention plugin is exactly like that. It's your own personal plugin that says, hey, this is how we build a feature module in our project. Okay, so how do you actually make one of these? It might sound a little intimidating, but the core pieces are surprisingly simple. We're not going to get lost in the weeds with code here, but we'll walk through the main ideas so you get exactly how it all fits together. So here's the basic roadmap. First, you create a special build logic module. This is where your plugins are going to live. Inside that, you write a simple Kotlin class. That's where you'll define all your shared settings. Then you just give your plugin a unique name, and from that point on, you can apply it anywhere with just one line. It's a really logical process. At the very heart of this whole thing is a plain old Kotlin class that implements this plugin of project interface. That's the magic. It gives you an apply method, and inside that method, you get access to the project object, which basically gives you the keys to the kingdom to configure whatever module you apply it to. Now, this is where it gets really, really powerful. Your convention plugin doesn't have hard-coded versions. Nope. Instead, it plays perfectly with your Gradle version catalog, that libs.versions.to file. This means you get a single source of truth, not just for your build rules, but for every single dependency version across your entire app. Say goodbye to version conflicts. And you can configure pretty much anything you can think of. Using things like the library extension for Android, you get type-safe access to set the compile SDK, min SDK, all your ProGuard rules. You can even have it automatically apply other plugins, like for Kotlin or Hilt, so you never have to remember to add them manually again. Okay, so we've talked about the what and the how. Now for the fun part, the payoff. Let's look at a before and after that really shows just how big of a deal this is. Just look at this. On the left, that's the old way. A long, messy, repetitive script you have to copy and paste everywhere. And on the right, well, that's the convention way. It's beautiful, right? All that noise is just gone. It's replaced by one single line applying your plugin. The only things left are the parts that are actually unique to that module, its namespace and its dependencies. It's just so clean and easy to understand. So this is way more than just making your files look pretty. Adopting this pattern gives you some real tangible benefits that make development so much easier, especially as your project and your team gets bigger. First off, you get rock-solid consistency. Every single module is guaranteed to be built with the exact same rules. Maintainability? It's a dream. You need to update your compile SDK? You change it in one place and it's instantly updated everywhere. Your build scripts become way easier to read because they only show it's unique. Adding new modules becomes a breeze, and you can even reuse this logic across totally separate projects. And hey, don't just take my word for it. As developer Yudhishthiro Septien Dwaisaputro says, this can greatly simplify build management and increase efficiency. And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? It's all about working smarter, not harder, and building a codebase that's easier to manage in the long run. So if you're feeling inspired to go clean up your own build scripts, the article this is based on, Architecture at Scale, Part 1, is the perfect place to start. It's got all the code samples and a full step-by-step guide to get you going. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Take a look at your own project right now. Think about all that boilerplate you're repeating everywhere. What's the very first convention you're going to create to make it all simpler? Thanks for tuning in.